up, YouTube? Just had a Try Joe TV talk with my buddy Derek Stone with Everyman Jack. I wanted to reach out to him because he has completed a triathlon in the last couple weeks. So he just recently did a triathlon in Eastern Tennessee. It's like where they had the Manhattan Project or something like that. He told me there's like some crazy long pool. But anyway, we talked about his triathlon and what's new with the social distancing guidelines. Are we all going to have to wear hazmat suits or whatnot? So take a listen. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment. And also, real quick, if you have a story that you think I want to hear or anybody else wants to hear, reach out to me. Let's hook up. Have a Try Joe TV talk with you while we're riding on Zwift. All right. See you guys. I got my buddy Derek Stone here with me today. He just did a triathlon. I know it's crazy, right? Did a triathlon last weekend up in Middle Tennessee. Where was it?
Oak Ridge, Tennessee.
Where is
the
that?
Secret City. So that's like Eastern Tennessee, about 35 minutes west of Knoxville. For those that don't know, it's pretty much where the Manhattan Project happened, where they developed the nuclear bomb.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about his race, his training right now, being on EMGA, Everyman Jack, being a team member of that. That's where every one of those guys are like not from this planet. And then we're also going to talk about his race last year at Chattanooga. I mean, I think were you first?
Yep, yeah, I took the overall amateur win last year there.
Wow. That's awesome, man. So, anyway, Derek, tell me a little bit about yourself, man. How long have you been doing triathlons?
Yeah, so it's kind of I guess long story short, I grew up running, so I ran in college, but I would do a triathlon every summer just to kind of cross train. So it kind of started in college where I do swim and bike alongside running. And then after college, I took 5 years off and moved from Michigan to Ohio with my job. And then I was in Ohio for 3 years, and then I moved on to Nashville and got married. And then I wanted to get a little bit more involved in sports again. So I decided I wasn't going to do just running, so I went back to triathlon and signed up for Ironman Louisville back in 2016. So that was the start of the journey. I quickly adapted. The run came back pretty quickly, and the bike is still a little bit of a struggle, but I'm getting back there, and here I am now.
Nice, nice. So was Louisville your first race, like after five-year hiatus?
So I did a couple 5Ks, and then I did, I think, a sprint in Middle Tennessee, and then I did like 2 Olympics, and then Louisville. So I did a couple right that first year.
Wow. You know what they say, go big or go home, man.
Exactly, yep.
How was that race in Louisville?
So it was fun. Swam well. I think I swam sub 1 hour. It's mostly aided swim. The first half the first third is probably upriver, and then you're pretty much downriver for most of it. The bike, I think I biked like a 5:32, and then went guns and blazing the first couple miles in the run. I do recall looking down my watch at 4 miles, and I was like 23:50, still at a sub 6-minute pace. And then after that, I was walking. I didn't have a GPS watch, so I didn't know how fast I was going. And I learned pretty quickly, like, nutrition plays a pretty big role in those longer races, and so does pacing. So I felt really good, but I remember I stopped at mile 7 to go to the bathroom, and oh man, I cramped up right away. But after that, I decided I kind of hone in on the 70.3 distances, and I still dabble with the long course stuff, but not as much as like the 70.3 distance.
Yeah. So is 70.3 your favorite distance?
I think so. Yeah, it's a good blend. You're not redlining the whole time, and like you're doing enough when you're training throughout the week that you feel like you're accomplishing something. But it's not so short that like a mistake will set you up for failure when you race.
It's like I tell everybody, you can fake it for a half. You cannot fake it for a full.
Exactly, yeah.
Every single wart or every single mistake you make on that bike comes to haunt you on the run. You know,
Yep.
any run you may have skipped during training, it comes back to bite you. So yeah. So let's talk about. So how long have you been on EMGA? EMJ. Yeah.
So,
Everyman
yeah, this is
Jack.
my second season.
Yeah.
Prior to EMJ, I was actually on the Snapple team. They had a really small team. But, getting into triathlon the first year, I met a few guys I liked a lot, and I aspired to be, one of those guys, and applied and got on last year. Just had a great time at camp. Met some great guys. You mentioned Greg Gorsucki earlier. We actually did like a little mini camp down in North Georgia last year with several other guys, and we just had a blast, and the culture is awesome. The guys are great. Obviously, we have some great sponsors that have really set us up for success, and it's been a great experience overall.
Nice. Do you race with any of these guys on Zwift?
Yeah. I can't keep up with some of these guys on Zwift. So, like I said, I have a running background, and I definitely take pride in that. And I did a couple of bike races. Greg, for example, even told me, he's like, yeah, when you do this race, you just jump into the B race. Not to be an asshole, but he's like, just do the B race. And he's right. Like, and I know my strengths, and I've definitely been working on my weaknesses. But I can't really, to be honest, like mentally, I just can't really get into it too much. I can get out and suffer on a run, without a race happening. With a bike racing, the Zwift, it's kind of a race, but I just like mentally can't get to that point where I can dig deep.
I hear you. So as far as your running background, what'd you run in college?
Predominantly ran middle distance, so the mile and the 1500 meter. I ran a 351 1500, which is about a 407 mile.
Wow.
And that's kind of where I'd like to get back to that speed, but now that I'm getting older, when I start moving that fast, things start breaking down a little bit more.
I hear you. Especially as you get older, man. The speed doesn't necessarily go. It's the beat. Getting beat up. Doing those long or those hard efforts, back-to-back days, or over and over. You just start to feel it. In your
For sure.
in your body.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like for the last 3 years, my hard efforts has just always been a race or something. And then
Yep.
I leave everything else to most of that 80-20,
Yep.
So,
I'm right there with you.
So let's talk about the triathlon you did.
Yeah.
So Manhattan Project, East Tennessee. Was there any kind of nuclear bomb medal they gave you or anything like that?
Well, I didn't stick around for the awards. I was with a group of guys, and we wanted to get back to Nashville pretty quickly. Some guy made a joke before the race, like, "Yeah, you ride the bike until you see the guys with the assault rifles, and then you take a left." So obviously that area is pretty protected. I wasn't paying attention. I didn't see those guys. However, yeah, it was a pretty unique environment. The road, we drove in on the road that we were on our bikes, and very smooth road, a very pretty setting. For those that don't know, there's actually a 100-meter pool that we swam in. It's massive. So the size of a football field, right? And it's actually bigger than that because the 100-meter pool is encompassed by even more water around it, and it's naturally spring fed. So the water was pristine. You didn't get that chlorine smell or itch after getting out of the water, which is great. The bike was super fast, and the run was relatively challenging.
Is a 100-meter pool?
Yeah, massive.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what was the distance of the swim?
It was a 500-meter swim, so 5 lengths, and which you never think, but the pool was one of the more choppy races I've ever been in. So as you made the turn and you started swimming against the folks that were coming down the first length, that chop, because they didn't have like real lane barriers in there, so it wasn't breaking up the water, but it was pretty choppy.
Wow. That's insane. Do you have any pictures? Did you take a picture of the pool or anything?
I have one where you can kind of see in the background, but if you search online or you search like a satellite view, then you can kind of grasp how large it is.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen some pools like right, there's a famous one in Australia that's up against the reef or something like that. But 100 meters, that's insane.
Massive. Yeah.
Yeah. So the triathlon itself, was it much different than what you've done in the past? I mean, how did they set it up with the virus going on right now?
Yeah. So I guess the first thing I'll note, we stayed out in Kingston, Tennessee, which is in the same general area, about 20 minutes south of Oak Ridge, where the race took place. We had dinner the night before, and 0 people in the city of Kingston had a mask on.
Oh.
So, like obviously the smaller towns, I think the risk is less, but people don't see it as a threat, and so that was interesting to see that that being kind of normal again. The race director, the biggest request was to wear a mask before and after the race. So everyone had a mask on before and after the race, even the volunteers. And then the biggest change, which was I think the best, they limited bikes to 4 bikes a rack. So everyone had a little bit more space in the bike rack. Other than that,
every triathlete is going to love that.
Yes, absolutely.
And how many people were in the triathlon?
Man, I don't recall. I want to say it's definitely over 100. The same race company put a race on 2 weeks prior, and they kept it at like 88 or something like that. And this one was definitely larger. I'm going to guess around 200.
Oh, okay. Wow.
But don't quote me on that though.
Yeah. How did you finish?
I took the win.
Nice, man.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, as I say, like there's a couple studs that came out. Jordan Green, he's from Bowling Green, Kentucky, and I had the advantage of him. He's a strong swimmer and biker, and he's been swimming less than me just because he hasn't had the opportunity in Kentucky. So I jumped in the water right after him, and I figured if I have my sights on him when I get out of the water, I have a pretty good shot. And then I don't think I've ever caught him on the bike before, but I know he had an accident the week before too, so I know he's a little beat up. But I caught him on the bike, and then there's a guy, a local athlete, Nick Hetro, who just blew by me on the bike. And I wasn't really positive of the power I was putting out. It wasn't reading on my head unit. But after the race, I had a 20-minute power average of 293, which is pretty close to one of my best 20-minute powers. And then it dropped off at the very end, but I had a 30-minute average of like 280, I believe. So I definitely have increased my ability to push the wide in the shorter races.
And then you just ran them off?
Yeah, so I knew I'd be a little tired. I did 2 quality workouts the Thursday before. I did 3 by 2 mile in the morning on Thursday, like 11:02, 10:58, and then 10:48. And then the evening I did like 5 or 6 2-minute VO2 efforts on the bike. So I knew I was going a little tired, but I still ran sub 17 off the bike on the 5K.
That is definitely solid.
Yeah, it was a good day.
Yeah.
It's honestly just a lot of fun just to get out there and race and push hard.
Yeah. It's like a buddy. So I have a buddy of mine in South Carolina, and he'll race against this kid, Ricky Flynn. Well, I say kid. He's like his early 30s, but he'll catch Ricky Flynn on the bike, blow past him, and then it doesn't matter how much time he's got on him. Ricky Flynn will run like a sub 15-minute 5K and blow everybody away.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's
awesome,
man. It doesn't matter what size the race is. When you win a race, it could be the local 5K. You just feel like a champion,
Yeah. Well, I felt pretty good about this one because there was some legit competition there.
Uh-huh.
But like at the end of the day, like for me, I love to compete, no matter what level. And honestly, like doing that local race, just kind of like that's why I love doing the sport because it was so convenient. You know, when you think about Ironman events, which are great, don't get me wrong, but there's a lot more stress added on top of it. Like doing that small local race was awesome. It was so much fun.
Did they have more or less volunteers than you thought they normally would, or it's about the same?
I didn't really notice, so I guess I would say the same.
Yeah.
So there was nothing I noticed that was unusual about that piece.
And you felt comfortable doing the race? You'd go back and do it again next week?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome, man. Yeah, I mean, I know. So, Team Magic, which is a regional
Yep.
organization that puts on races in like Tennessee, Georgia, Alabama, I think maybe even Mississippi, but they have one in Alabama in a few weeks, northern Alabama, that
Yep.
I was looking at possibly doing. I mean, I would feel safer, like you said, in a smaller race versus showing up to an Ironman where there's at least 1,000 people, you know?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So I actually set up that race, Mountain Lakes. I love Team Magic events. They put out a great race. Obviously, they do the big one here in Nashville and Chattanooga. Those are some of my favorite races. But I also signed up for Muncie. I at this point I still don't see Muncie happening. With Lubbock being canceled, like a couple days out, there's the case counts on the rise with COVID. So, if I could race twice this year, I'll be pretty satisfied. I think.
And one more thing about that race. I mean, I'm sure you haven't been swimming as much. How difficult was it to get back in the water and do the swim?
Yeah, we actually I swam. I want to say more, but pretty on par at least. So the first 2 months of the shutdown, obviously the pools were closed. But as soon as the water warmed up, we were in the lake. And I was jumping in the lake about 3 times a week nearby, and that made a pretty big difference. I have a buddy too that has an endless pool, and I jumped into that several times too. And that's I should get into more because it's super convenient, but I just want to be mindful of going over there too often. But yeah, the endless pool is great, and then the Ys have recently opened up, and our National Swim recently opened up as well. But there's a lot of restrictions with like the public pools right now. You have to sign up early, which is not good for me.
Yeah, I hear you. It's I used to swim with a master. Well, I'm on a masters team here in Atlanta, and when you show up to the pool by yourself, it's a lot more difficult to get motivated, either get there or whatnot. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I agree. Like the lake was fun because we'd have guys go out there. It's kind of the same thing that we'd stop every 500 and just kind of chit chat and bullshit. But it was fun just to get out there. The open water is actually obviously pretty. And when it first got in, the water was like so pristine and refreshing, honestly, to get into. But yeah, getting into a pool, my motivation is just not there.
yeah. I'm looking at ways to spend more time doing drills because you still have to get the heart rate up. So,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
So you did Chattanooga last year, took the win. Will you sign up for this year?
I did sign up for this year, so I wanted to change it up a little bit. I had a big group, some athletes I coach and some other friends. We were going to go down to Gulf Coast, and obviously that was been deferred as well. So I deferred that until 2021. Traverse City I was signed up for as well. That just got postponed or probably canceled. And I'm signed up for Chattanooga full this year though too.
Okay.
So I don't see any of those races happening. But then I signed up for Muncie late just to see because I thought maybe it could happen. But after seeing Lubbock get canceled the week of, who knows?
I know, and the way they canceled that too. I mean, because you just knew that the city from what I heard, the city pulled all their permits, so they would have still tried to put it on.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. A lot of people are bummed. They think Ironman's being malicious, but like I try to get people to look at the other angle. Like restaurants are going to close down until they have to, right? You know, people running a business, no matter how large it is, people got to make money. And you're putting a lot of jobs in jeopardy no matter what. So you got to run it until you can't, essentially. Until you said you can't do this.
Right. So let's talk real quick about your race at Chattanooga, because I'll probably post this on the Chattanooga 70.3 page.
Sure. Okay.
You obviously won the race. You know.
Yeah.
What kind of tips can you give somebody doing that race, either for the first time or the fifth time, or what was your experience like last year?
So that was the third year I've done that race, and it's always hot. So you got to dial in the nutrition, and you got to be prepared for the heat. I think it's an excellent race for anyone that's not as confident with their swim ability, because it was, I guess, 2 out of the last 3 years they cut the swim, so it went downriver. And I know this year it's long, but it's completely downriver. So I'd say like still focus on swim fitness because it's important, but you have the ability to have that aid when you're going in the water. I think the bike's pretty honest. Rolling, a little bit slow on the way out, fast on the way back. Just be prepared for a couple good climbs, and then for the run, again, like it's hilly, it's hot, it's going to be humid. I just got to set yourself up for success during that 13.1 miles.
Yeah, what'd you run? You ran like a 119 there last year, right?
Yep, 119. And even then, like I did not get enough fluid in because I did everything I could to hang on. I thought I was going to die the last like 4 miles.
And you know what's crazy is that heat kind of just came out of nowhere, because I was doing about a 6:30 pace until about mile 8, and then it was like a switch. There was a friend of mine. She was running down that little path where you go into the Veterans Bridge, and I literally put my hand on her shoulder and pushed her down the walkway so I wouldn't fall down, man. And it was like, just get to the pedestrian bridge.
Yep.
Yeah.
That race, and so I'm doing the full this year if it happens. And I picked that race for that reason, because I know I can run in the heat, but I need to make sure I'm being really diligent about how the fluid I'm taking in, and honestly just prepare, like doing runs in the heat too. If you get used to running in the warmer weather, you kind of know what you're able to focus on and what you can maintain. So definitely training the heat if you have the ability to run midday, probably on the weekends for most people. Go out for a midday long run just to get the feel for it.
Awesome, man. Well, hey, if you get a chance, you want to come train one weekend in Chattanooga, let me know. I'll get some people together. We'll go hit the bike course.
Yeah.
I'll take you over Barton. Have you run over Barton before?
The run course?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've ran. Yeah, because I did Worlds there a couple years ago, and I think that course went up there, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Yeah, the difference between the Worlds course and the full is, once you go over Barton, you come back, you make a left, you go around to the golf course and make a little lollipop, and then you come back over the same road on Barton. And doing Worlds and then running Barton the last couple years, I tell you, because Worlds would put you on a different road going back. Mentally, I feel like that was easier than running back over the same exact hill. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
But it's a tough run, but it's doable. If you want to run a 3-hour marathon on it, at your level, it's doable. It's just going to hurt like hell.
For sure. Yeah.
So, and the problem is, that's right, like that first lap. So you're feeling great. Both years I've done the full there, I felt great on that first lap, and then you go back out run along the highway, even though it's flat, that sun, there's just no shade. You're just getting beat down.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I did Louisville Fold last year, and my first half was like 124. And it was stupid because going in the race, I was only running like 20 miles a week because I tweaked my hamstring. And so I was babying that injury like for many weeks going into the race. And I got off the bike and I felt phenomenal, like you said. And I was like, I'm gonna go with it and see what happens, you know. And I held on to like the last like 6 miles, and I still broke 3 hours, but it was very painful the last 6 miles.
Yeah, and that's my thing. Last year, the first 17 miles I was fine, and then it just like that, you just start dying, you know.
Exactly.
And by that time, you know, I had some mechanical issues on the bike, and so I'm walking, I'm sitting down, I'm laying down. My wife comes over to see me. She's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "I don't even care about this race anymore." So, but anyway, yeah. Well, hey man, thanks for the chat. I know you got some other things, you know, got going on. Oh, you know what? One more thing. So during the quarantine or even now when all the races are canceled, what are you doing to stay motivated? I mean, how are you motivated?
Great question. I think honestly, just adding consistency every day is having like a consistent routine. I wake up every morning at 5 and knock something out right away. It's so valuable. If I go out and I drink the night before, I wake up a little bit later, my motivation is already decreasing, you know?
Yeah.
And so I just say, like, be consistent, you know, but be balanced though too, have fun, socialize. But yeah, just have a consistent schedule. And it's easy if like work schedule is flexible now and things like that get really flexible, because then you start to like push things off to midday. And by the time midday rolls around, crack a beer at 3 p.m. You're not doing work after that, you know? So I say get it out, knock it out in the morning. And then if you need to do a second workout in the afternoon, it's a little bit easier to kind of balance that.
See, that's the thing for me. It's like what got me on a schedule every single day was showing up to Masters in the morning. You know,
Exactly,
6 a.m., you get that first workout in, then you want to work out after work or even at lunchtime. But now it's like, especially these last few weeks, these last few months, you know, struggle to get up at 6 a.m., not run until 7, and you're like, just do whatever you can, you know?
Yep.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I feel like I've maintained pretty well. The first few weeks, I was trying to lose weight, cut weight, and then once the races were canceled, I was like, well, you know, I'll eat whatever I want now. And now I'm kind of back on trying to cut a little bit of weight right now. But it's a little bit harder now. Because like you just don't know if a race is going to happen. So it's like, is there a point to be that disciplined? So you want to be focused, but you don't want to be laser focused all the time.
Yeah. I had, you know, cutting weight's always been an issue for me too. And I'd like turned the corner last year and got down to a race weight that I was proud of. And then somebody told me, well, you know, you don't want to maintain that throughout the wintertime. And so I started putting weight back on, and now it's like, I can't get back down to race weight.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm right there with you.
So, well, hey, Derek, it was awesome talking to you, man. Hopefully, fingers crossed, because I'm going to try Chattanooga again. You know, I don't know how to say no to that race. I'm too stupid to realize it's too hard, and I should probably go somewhere else, because it is a great course. I mean, it's an honest course too, you know.
Yep.
You're definitely going to get your money's worth at both the half and the full. So, yeah. Well, hey, man, good luck. I'll see you hopefully out on the race course. Maybe I can hold you off on the run. I doubt it, but, you know, we'll see. So, thanks for the chat, man. Good luck. Have a good one.
Yeah, you as well.
All right, buddy. Talk soon, man.